The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and pine, the forest hushed under the weight of an approaching storm. Aurea Lorne had always found comfort in the wilderness surrounding her quiet home, a place where nature thrived undisturbed. But that evening, something felt different. There was an unease in the air, an unnatural silence that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. Then she heard it, a deep guttural groan carried on the wind. It wasn't the sound of a typical woodland creature. It was raw, agonized, a cry of suffering. Aurea hesitated. Fear whispered in her mind, urging her to turn back. But something deeper, something instinctual, pushed her forward. Guided by the sound, she wove through the dense underbrush, the forest darkening as heavy clouds swallowed the last light of day. And then she saw it. A bear, a massive, weathered creature, its fur matted with dirt, its body weak and trembling. But it wasn't just exhaustion that plagued it. Thick chains wrapped around its limbs, biting into its flesh. The iron links tethered the animal to a rusted post, its movements limited to a cruel, narrow radius. Aurea's breath hitched. This wasn't an accident. Someone had done this, deliberately, maliciously. Her stomach churned with anger. Who would do such a thing? The bear's dark eyes met hers, filled with a silent plea. It wasn't just suffering, it was resignation. It had given up. Not if she had anything to say about it. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone, fingers fumbling to dial the local wildlife rescue. Every second felt like an eternity as she relayed the situation. The dispatcher's voice was calm but urgent, promising help as soon as possible. Aurea stayed, ignoring the rain that began to drizzle through the canopy. She whispered soothing words, though she knew the bear couldn't understand them. But maybe, just maybe, it could feel the kindness in her voice. Minutes stretched into an hour before headlights cut through the growing darkness. A team of wildlife experts arrived, their faces grim as they assessed the situation. With careful hands and quiet coordination, they worked to free the bear, sedating it just enough to keep it calm. As the chains finally fell away, the creature let out a low, weary exhale. Relief flooded Aurea's chest. The team transported the bear to a sanctuary where it could heal, regain its strength, and, most importantly, live free. Aurea was assured she could visit, but as she watched the truck disappear down the road, she wasn't thinking about herself. She was thinking about the bear's long road to recovery, about how many more animals might be suffering in silence, unseen, unheard. Word of her actions spread quickly through the town. At first, Aurea was overwhelmed by the attention, neighbors stopping by with flowers, handwritten notes, even homemade treats. "You've reminded us all of what it means to be a good neighbor," an elderly woman told her, eyes shining with emotion. It wasn't about recognition, it was about responsibility. Her actions had ignited a conversation, one about empathy, about vigilance, about the hidden suffering that so often went unnoticed. Wildlife organizations reached out, asking her to share her experience. At first, Aurea hesitated. She wasn't a public speaker, and the idea of standing before a crowd made her stomach twist. But the more she thought about it, the more she realized the bear's story needed to be told. And so she found herself standing behind a podium at a wildlife advocacy event, gripping the edges nervously. The audience, a mix of familiar faces and strangers, watched her expectantly. Taking a steadying breath, she began. She didn't tell the story as a hero or an expert. She spoke simply, from the heart. She spoke of the moment she found the bear, the fear and doubt that gripped her, the overwhelming relief when it was freed. "I didn't think I was brave," she admitted. "I just knew I couldn't look away. Sometimes, doing the right thing isn't about being fearless. It's about caring enough to act, even when you're scared." Applause erupted, but Aurea wasn't focused on that. What mattered was the message. If even one person left that room feeling inspired to act, then the bear's suffering hadn't been in vain. She kept in touch with the sanctuary, receiving updates and photos. The bear, now named Solon, was thriving, lounging in the grass, splashing in its pond, living the life it had been denied for so long. Each image brought her immense joy, but also served as a reminder that there were still others out there, waiting for someone to notice, someone to care. Her experience became a driving force in her life. She began volunteering with local wildlife organizations, advocating for stronger protections for animals, encouraging her community to report signs of neglect or abuse. She didn't see herself as a hero, just a person who had chosen to act when it mattered. The bear's story rippled far beyond that small town. It became a testament to the power of a single decision, because cruelty and suffering often hide in the most unexpected places. And change? Change starts with one person taking a stand. This isn't just about one bear. It's about all of us, about the responsibility we carry, to be vigilant, to be kind, to take action. If something feels wrong, trust your instincts. Report it. Support wildlife protection efforts. Spread awareness. Even small steps, signing a petition, attending an event, speaking up, can make a difference. Arya never expected to find herself in the center of a story like this, but it taught her something profound. Compassion, even in the smallest acts, can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Solon's transformation from a suffering, chained creature to a thriving, healthy being was proof of the resilience of life, proof of what happens when someone chooses to care. So let this be a call to action. Be vigilant. Be compassionate. Be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. Because sometimes all it takes is one person to change everything.